Welcome to the Crypto Campfire.
They're best served hot. Mitch and the Professor. Featuring special guest, David Liebowitz.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Professor.
And Mitch.
And today we're going to be talking with David Liebowitz. He is the Director of Partnerships and Exchanges at Everipedia. Before we start talking to David, let's grab that crypto news from the Crypto Gent.
Thanks, Professor. Hello, Crypto Campfire listeners, and welcome to the cryptocurrency news in a flash with a Crypto Gent. Bitcoin Gold is held captive by whale with almost half the supply. Bitcoin-only exchange CoinFloor now focuses on consumer BTC services. Binance halts trading to resolve technical problem, and that's the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent. It's back to you, Professor.
Thanks a lot, Crypto Gent. So we met David in Los Angeles at CIS. We didn't actually get a chance to talk to him too much or record with him, so I'm glad that he was able to get on the podcast and get a slot booked. And let's cut to the chase. David, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
How's it going? Really excited, really happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I met you guys at CIS. We hit it off right away, and I definitely wanted to make an appearance and just talk to you guys, just like we're around a campfire.
Right.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Stoked to have you on. We love what Everipedia is doing, and it's, we're all about information and knowledge and education. So it's, one piece of the puzzle for sure.
Yeah, and what's really cool about Everipedia is we're doing so much more than just Everipedia now. Like Everipedia was the start, and it's obviously our flagship product, but we're actually we're building other dApps. We launched Predict over the summer. Our developers have a stablecoin project going on. So we're really doing a lot, and they all intertwine with each other. It's not like, all these things are kind of their separate islands. Like we're making it so they all kind of complement each other and work with each other, all these different dApps.
Awesome. Let's backtrack real quick, and why don't you kind of give people a quick rundown on what Everipedia is, maybe the backstory on that a little bit, so we can get the context for people that don't know about Everipedia yet.
Yeah, so Everipedia, in like a really short one-word brief summary, it's a next generation encyclopedia built on the blockchain. We didn't start out that way. Everipedia originally launched in 2015, and it was just a normal website. It was more of a supplement to Wikipedia. So we actually forked Wikipedia early on, and then we have a million more pages on top of it. And a lot of the information is content and people and subjects that are quote unquote not notable enough for Wikipedia, but a lot of people are still searching for it. So to give you some more context, early on in Wikipedia's history, you had your deletionists and your inclusionists of editors. The inclusionists believe like, hey, everything should have a page. If it's a stub, it can be improved. And the deletionists believe like, no, we need to have these strict standards, blah, blah, blah. Around 2010, the deletionists won out and they took over the editing of Wikipedia. And the inclusionists really had nowhere to go. You actually saw around 2010, the editor population of Wikipedia capped off. So it was growing every year for the first 10 years. And then it just it's been plateaued ever since. I don't think that's a coincidence. And you know what's happened since 2010? You've had the rise of influencers. You had the rise of e-celebs. You had the rise of so many different online personalities and memes and so much different stuff going on that people are searching for. They're searching for reliable information, but Wikipedia just refuses to have it on their site. So that's where Everipedia kind of was born. It's like, why can't we have an encyclopedia for everything? So we really carry the inclusionist torch. I originally joined Everipedia because I just thought it was cool, and I still think it's really cool. Growing up, I loved Wikipedia. I love music, so I was always trying to read the biographies of my favorite artists. And sometimes I would search for people and they wouldn't have Wikipedia pages. I'm like, what? And so when I first saw Everipedia, something clicked in my head. And eventually I became an editor, made a lot of pages for my favorite musicians and DJs. And I still do to this day. And so we were just a regular website before. And then in 2017, 2018, we started thinking like, okay, how can we really become a next generation encyclopedia? How can we really become a better version of Wikipedia? And so we saw blockchain just come come about in the news around 2017, 2018. And we're just like, oh, maybe there's something here. And so we did figure out a way to incorporate blockchain in a utility manner with Everipedia. And then in 2018, we got support in the EOS community, EOS VCs. We raised money from Galaxy Digital, and then we airdropped our tokens in the summer of 2018. And so our platform has been live for over a year, a live DApp, not just some vaporwave. And we have a community of editors. You can go on our site right now, go to the activity tab, and the activity tab is basically the pulse of the site. And so you just see edits of like all different topics, people editing science Wikipedia pages, people editing their favorite celebrities, people editing journal, like everything you can imagine. It's really cool to see. And with how it works is, so it works with the IQ token. So this is how blockchain gets into it. So with the IQ token, editors are rewarded for their edits, and editors put up IQ token when they make edits. So they actually have a stake in what they're editing. And so let's say they edit a page, they submit it, and then there's a voting period for 12 hours. And in that voting period, you have the community judge the article, making sure it's quality content. And if they approve, they use their IQ tokens to vote for it. And if there's something wrong with it, if it's spammy or if there's, if it's dishonest, they'll vote to reject it. And so if an article is approved, then the editor and the voters receive newly minted IQ tokens. The vast majority go into the editor. It's an 80-20 split. And if edit's rejected, then those tokens are locked for a period of time. So that's how basically the token economics of IQ works. And so we still have the same mission, the modern inclusionist encyclopedia. And I encourage everyone to join and sign up.
I love the way that you've utilized the token to provide incentives and also kind of help self-regulate the system.
Yeah, I honestly see it like the Everipedia system being a model for more dApps in the future. I mean, you're basically what we see now in the current Web 2.0 with Facebook and Twitter. People are creating all this content, they're producing all this content, but they're not getting rewarded for it. The rewards are kind of just stuck in the centralized entity that is Facebook. But with Everipedia, we're distributing that reward to the community. And like the more work you put in, you will be rewarded. Trust me, like there have been editors that have been doing this for a while now and become like staples of our community. And it's really beautiful to see. Honestly, it's really inspiring.
So how long ago and how did you get into cryptocurrencies?
I got into crypto in 2017. I mean, like I've always heard about it. I remember in high school first hearing when WikiLeaks got all their donation, like way they could get donations just cut. They couldn't use PayPal, they couldn't use anything. So then they just started accepting Bitcoin in 2010. That was the first I heard of Bitcoin. And then of course, like hear people like talk about the Silk Road and stuff. And like, I've like always been like interested in Bitcoin and crypto, but like I never fully went into it because I like never felt comfortable with it. But it wasn't until 2017 when I was working at Everipedia. At the time, I was an executive editor. So I was just making pages 24/7. I basically lived on the internet, always trying to create content that was valuable. And so then when we started exploring getting into blockchain, I was just kind of brought around with it. And it was basically like 8-month crash course lesson into crypto, just learning all the ins and outs, learning about all the different characters, all the different kind of viewpoints and perspectives that people have. So it started in 2017, and I've been in 2 years, and it honestly feels like a decade. Like,
oh my God, right?
Yeah, like 2 years feels like 10 years, honestly. I feel like I learned so much between like the media, between like how the markets work, between how the technology actually works, and between that, I feel like it's hard to explain unless you're like in it.
It is. It's really hard to explain. Yeah. I mean, 2 years. I've been in it almost. Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in January that I've been in crypto, and all that's happened. It's like two things. It's like part of it's a blink, and then you think, oh my God, I've learned so much, but shit, I haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's only so much you can learn. I feel like it's also have too much information, like
no.
to make judgments. Like you just have to just learn how to. I think the number one thing I learned in crypto is learn how to filter information properly, because there's a lot going on out there.
Yeah.
And it's just, and like what I'm trying to figure out is like, how do we get regular everyday people involved in this and interacting in this? And I think Everipedia is a great start because millions of people visit Everipedia every month, and they don't even realize they're using a blockchain product. But all they know is they're visiting a website.
Right. I agree. The space is just it's unbelievable to keep up with, and
It's a lot of fun. It's really entertaining.
It is. I don't know about you. I mean, you sound like you were born, I'm going to go out on a limb, say maybe 93, 94-ish.
94.
Okay. So pretty good guess there. But, CPUs in the brain since birth have really gained a lot of terabytes of space since, I'd say 60s, right? I was born in 69. So, we didn't even get a gigabyte of memory, let alone what you guys have in your heads, because it's like, how in the hell do you guys retain half the shit you retain? And processing all this information.
I mean, I guess we're just used to it. Like we're born into it. Like if anything, like it feels like the regular financial markets are slow compared to crypto, just because crypto's 24/7,
right?
And the market can close if there's, let's say, if like a president passes, or if there's bad weather, or if something like that happens.
Here's a real quick analogy. Back in the day, we used to have these motorcycles that we actually had to wind up and let go. And today you guys just push a button and they take off. So a little bit different, mindsets of back then and now. So
yeah, everything's just so much more instantaneous, and everything's faster, and there's a lot more. I feel like I like to think we live in like the bot world now, and we live in the bot economy, not just in like crypto trading, but just like on Twitter with all the different crypto bots, or like Twitter bots, whether it's in crypto or in politics. Like people don't realize it, but like it's kind of crazy how like these bots are affecting the world.
Let's go back in time real quick. So we joke about who's Satoshi all the time, right?
Yeah.
But you got to meet the guy whose real name is Satoshi Nakamoto. I got to know the story about that day. Was he like sick and tired of crypto people, or was it actually an interesting interaction?
Like the Japanese dude? Oh, yeah.
I hope he wasn't Irish, for God's sake.
No. Satoshi, yeah. So I did meet Satoshi back in BlockCon 2017. I remember when I met him because Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high of 5,000, and it was packed in there. Everybody was so excited. There were so many different booths, so many different ICOs. Like it was in this in the airport hangar in Santa Monica. It was really an event, and I was still new to the space. Like it was like, and then I noticed Satoshi was there, and he was really nice, honestly, really nice dude. It's just really funny because he kind of just looks shot in all his pictures, but he's actually like a pretty accomplished scientist, and now like he does a lot with supporting the arts in crypto, which I think is very important, really important for crypto culture. But I remember I got to take a picture with Satoshi, and so like I took a picture with him, and people thought it was actually Satoshi. I'm just like, no, I had to explain it like back in 2014, like.
Right, that's true. Right before that guy's face was plastered all over everywhere, and everybody knew that it wasn't really.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stuff like that makes the crypto space a lot of fun. Between like stories like that, the story of how the HODL meme came about. I actually made the Everipedia page for the HODL meme, and it's just funny how just like on some message board, some drunk rant and a typo happens, and this meme that's so powerful that's like really like a call for all Bitcoin holders and bag holders and whatnot.
Seriously, and almost the best part of it is like all the crazy stories that spawn of how it came to be.
Yeah.
Everybody's imagination goes crazy and come up with all sorts of reasons why these memes exist when it's really just a little typo, but it's funny. You hear all the different stories on Twitter and stuff.
You can't control how memes come about. Memes just whatever just sticks to the collective unconscious of the modern world is how memes get popular. Some things could just be so stupid, but like just so funny at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that simplicity.
Yeah. Something that we can all like grab to. Some memes, I mean, I love memes. I'm really big into memes. I share memes all the time on my Instagram. Like honestly, like I find them really enjoyable, and I get a lot of enjoyment sharing them and like having people like interact with them and whatnot. And I think the crypto space is just like a perfect example of like how powerful memes can be. Whether it's HODL, whether it's just whether it's these anonymous meme accounts on Twitter, or like anonymous accounts, or whether it's like all the inside jokes on Twitter. It shows like, and shows how fast the memes can be in such like a short period of time, and like in so instantaneously, because it's online and like on the internet. I'm not sure if I explained that correctly, but does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying. And it's on the contrary to that, like there's the other side of it too, where their memes are like so bad on an individual standpoint, like Facebook. Let's just look at Facebook, for example. And basically that's where people get their education these days, is like memes on Facebook. It seems like drives me crazy, drives me nuts. But like the stuff that you're all, the fun stuff. I mean, I love it so much. I get addicted to them. You get scrolling through, and it's like the YouTube rabbit holes, but for memes. And
I kind of view Facebook as like a slow moving river of content. So like kind of you see a meme from like a day or a few days ago, like you kind of see somebody's write up from a few days ago. Twitter is just like a racing rapid, like going downstream stuff. Like it's just like all the content's up to date. It's so fast. Like if everyone's talking about someone, like for example, I've seen that like the guy with the really good hair, George Molt, like all over Twitter, or like the most recent fake Toshi. And everybody's just like, his hair is so beautiful though, but like he's a scammer and stuff. So just like happened so much faster. Like I might have seen one thing about George Molt on Facebook, but like Twitter is just like, that's where like, it's just like speed.
Yeah. Twitter is instantaneous, and it's, it shows you the power of the community. But I mean, that's kind of like the beautiful thing about Everipedia too, is like you have that connectedness of the community that really helps bring it all together. I mean, that's what made Wikipedia so successful. So it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. We have a growing community, a strong community. And what makes Everipedia beautiful is it's kind of like the historical record for all these memes. So of course we have Everipedia pages on a lot of things, but one of the communities we focus on is the crypto community. So we have thousands of pages of people, Twitter accounts, whether it's like Brock Pierce or the Crypto Dog, like they all have Everipedia pages. We have Everipedia pages for funds, for cryptocurrencies. We have for what you name it. So we really try to be the historical record, whether it's like a meme or like something serious, like a cryptocurrency. Like I think what makes Everipedia cool is like, it doesn't matter how absurd something can be. Like I think you can find something scholarly about it. And in the future, those things will be scholarly. Like I kind of view it like, if you look at music, like when in like the 20s and 30s, when like jazz was first popular, like there weren't any music classes about jazz. Like people were just like doing it for fun, and the traditional music didn't take them seriously. But you look at it like almost 100 years later, like there are college classes that teach about jazz. So I kind of just view Everipedia as being ahead of the curve and providing scholarly information on a bigger scale like that.
So what's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer? That's a great question. I really like, I was in Denver 2 weeks ago, and I had this great graham cracker pilsner. It was like literally made with graham crackers. I forget the name of it. It was like some local brew, but it just hit the spot so well. But it was in Denver. I don't know the exact name of it, but it was just like a microbrewery pilsner. I wish I had the exact name, but whatever that beer was, that's my favorite beer. Honestly, like my first beer was other than that, my first beer was a Heineken. And so like I kind of have an affinity to Heinekens just because of that. I really do like Heinekens. And
well, now you're speaking his language.
Yeah. Now you're speaking in my language. That's right. That's like Heineken's my go-to.
Yeah.
When it comes to
on
beer.
the other hand, I feel like you shouldn't be able to see through your beer. I mean, I'll still drink a Budweiser if somebody hands me one, but
you know what? The brown beers are good, but everybody likes a nice cold blonde now and then.
Yeah, I remember in college they had this IPA in Massachusetts that was like 9%. I forget the name of it. It was like it was something with a monkey. I forget the name of it, but it was
holy shit.
It was a 9% IPA, like, and the challenge was could you finish a whole 6-pack of it?
Jesus.
By like halfway through, you're just like done. I wish I had the name of it.
You know, here in Detroit, they'd probably call that Spank Monkey or some shit.
Spank Monkey. Forget the name of it. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But it was like a few years ago. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad to meet another Heineken man. Really like Heinekens.
Damn straight. I might go crack one open here in a second.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: have you ever spent crypto or used a Bitcoin ATM?
The first time I bought Bitcoin was with a Bitcoin ATM, and I remember
Really?
I was trying to get into the Tezos ICO, and like it was taking too long for Coinbase to approve me. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to an ATM. So like I went to an ATM, bought like Bitcoin must have been like I think like 2,700, 2,900 then. Bought some Bitcoin, bought some Tezos, participated in the Tezos ICO, and I was just like, looking back, I wish I bought like Tezos futures instead.
Right.
Because they had the Tezos futures on HBTC, but like the Tezos were just locked up, and like there's all that drama happened over the year, but they like finally figured out their shit. And then like I got my Tezos, and I really like the woman, how like she really takes command of that community. Like I'm not too sure what's going on. Her name's Catherine Brightman. I got to give her credit for like the work she done from like, I feel like she had a lot to do with like saving it. I mean, she wasn't the only one, but I feel like Tezos like could easily not be here right now. So I got to give credit where credit's due. And also she's from Jersey. So like she's from North Jersey, like where I'm from. So like I'm proud of that as well.
So what was the Bitcoin ATM experience like? Because I've used coin flip ATMs, and I'll tell you what, their interface was really easy to use. So I'm curious as to how quick and how easy and what the fees were like when you used yours.
The fees were ridiculous. It was back in 2017. I remember the experience being easy. It was really random because the ATM was in like some coffee shop. I think it's definitely a really cool way for people to get involved. Like, I think like the easiest, if people are interested in it and they want to like be in crypto, like you don't really have to do that much to be in crypto. All you have to do is like buy a little Bitcoin and hold it. I think the one thing, but I found the experience to be really easy with the Bitcoin ATM.
Hell yeah.
I feel like people try to overcomplicate things with crypto because they just assume that blockchain and crypto is complicated, because it's like, oh, like how does the blockchain work? Like, oh, like what do all these different coins mean, tokens mean, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually quite simple. It's just like gold, like you don't really know how gold works, but it's like if you want to own gold, you can just like buy some at your local pawn shop or whatever and just hold it. Bitcoin's the same thing.
When was the last time you heard somebody say, how does my ATM or my debit card work? No, they just put the damn thing in, it pays the bill, and they walk away, and they forget how much they even use.
Yeah. Yeah, then they overdraft.
It's all about building those extra layers on top of everything and getting it so the user interface is nice and sleek and easy to use. And there's some complications with interchain compatibility and things like that, and that's all being worked out, and we're making progress.
It's still so early.
Yeah, man, it's right. We're right in the beginning here.
It amazes me how like small the crypto space is even at this point, even though like it definitely receded from like, the conferences aren't as big as they were in 2017 and early part of 2018, but it's still so small, the community. Like I feel like I know everyone in the crypto community in LA. And then like if you go to, I've been to a few conferences, and I know people that go to a lot of conferences and they just see the same people. It's just and definitely on all these lineups. Like whenever I see a lineup for like a crypto conference, it reminds me if I'm looking at a lineup for a music festival or something. You just always see like the same big name stars, whether it's like Pomp or like Charlie Shrem or like like it's just how it is.
Right. Yeah. It's there's a lot of repetitiveness in the crypto conference space, and that's like we've only been to a few of them, and I've already started to see a lot of the the crossover. Yeah. Like, especially like you say on the speakers, it's a lot of times it's the same people.
I mean, those conferences are really meant for networking.
Exactly.
I was back in New York, New Jersey, visiting family in May, and I went to Consensus for a bit. And that was actually a really great conference, really well put together. Made a lot of connections there. that was a cool conference, a consensus conference. And honestly, there's conferences happening in Singapore next week between Cointelegraph and CoinMarketCap. They're having conferences. Everipedia's president and original co-founder Sam Kazemian is speaking in Singapore at the Capital Conference, which is the CoinMarketCap conference. So I think everybody should go see what he has to say. He always has something interesting to say, honestly. But yeah, the conference circuit is like, I feel like there's only like a few conferences like really worth going to. The ones in Singapore this week seems like definitely like one of them.
Nice. That'd be sweet. I wish we could go to that one.
Yeah.
We're just did 2 in a row and we're all like, shit, man. We're trying to recover, trying to get back in the swing of things and trying to figure out what we're even thinking. Half the time my brain's not even functioning today. And I've been out of there for a week now.
I'm sure at the conferences you were able to recruit like a lot of people to be on your podcast. Like that's how I met you guys.
Right. Yeah. We're booked out through. So as we were recording the first like 10 minutes of the show, we just booked the last slot in December. So we're out into January now.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I'm happy I got on it on November the 5th of all dates.
Yeah. At least it wasn't like 3 months having to wait to talk to you. So
yeah.
By then, sometimes, to be honest, you'll get to that point, like a name will pop up. And
who is this?
Like if they haven't included their Twitter handle or something, sometimes just that name is like, shit, and then as soon as they join and you hear their voice or see their face, and it's like, oh, it comes back.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's especially when some of those people that you've just had like a quick 1 or 2 minute interaction with, and that's it. So
what I liked about the Las Vegas conference was there was a lot of media there, like a lot of guys doing their own podcasts or like blogging and stuff. And did you see the Crypto Wild West guys?
Yes.
Oh, they were great. I love doing their interview. Like they gave me a cowboy hat.
yeah, they interviewed us too. So we were standing there with our cowboy hats on. And
yeah, the one thing I really love about the crypto space is just like it really unites people across different cultures and different backgrounds. Like people that would not normally interact with each other in normal day-to-day life, or run into. They're interacting in the crypto space at these conferences. Like, I don't think I would ever meet anyone from Texas, from small town Texas like that if I wasn't in crypto and they weren't in crypto, you know? So
yeah, I mean, crypto really brings so many people together from all over the world too, because people fly in from all sorts of places, and so it's having these opportunities to like physically network and meet face to face. Because when you talk online, you know, it's never the same. When you actually get to meet in person and shake that person's hand, you gain a different sense of everything. It's great.
Different vibe. Yeah, that's like crypto is just so global and international. Like I'm always talking to someone like from a different continent, whether it's for work or just to made friends or something. And it's just so interesting because we have to deal with, you know, nation states and borders, and you see like what's happening in the U.S. Like all the crypto companies are fleeing the U.S. Like they're moving their headquarters elsewhere. Like you just had Poloniex that's moving out of the U.S. You just had Huobi closing accounts for U.S. customers. It seems like the U.S. is getting left behind, and Congress is just sitting on their hands doing nothing about it. They're not giving the SEC any guidance. The SEC is just kind of like basing their rulings off of previous regulations, and that's their job. Like, what else are they going to do? They're trying to do the best they can, but it's just tough because like you see all the innovation happening in Asia. You see like in Asia, they're like, I feel like they're hopping on it so much faster, and it just feels like in the future, and like people are just left behind here. Like you just definitely see it in the sentiment of our governments. Like you had the U.S. government, you had Mark Zuckerberg testify for Libra, and it was very confrontational, the tone of a lot of the representatives. And Facebook's done their shit. So like it may be well deserved, but they were not really welcoming to the idea of a cryptocurrency at all. And it makes sense if you look at the interests of the U.S. government, like the dollars, the economic hegemony of the world. So
I think the main reason for that is because if you look at corruption, it's probably a larger scale here in the United States than in most other countries. And because of the crypto space, those people with twisted agendas have the most to lose.
Yeah.
And so, we're being faced with a whole lot of negativity. And I think a lot of it's because of that, because, crypto is about leveling the playing field, right? It's about giving everyone an equal opportunity to, to excel at a number of different things, not just money. But that's never been the stance in the United States when it comes to politicians and political agendas. Political agendas are always seem to be about what they can gain from.
Yeah.
Because crypto is leveling that playing field and giving everybody that equal opportunity, I think there's a lot of threat being felt by the powers that be.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have all these companies doing ICOs. Like, I mean, I'm sure you have your scams and whatnot, but like, let's say if there's like a legitimate project doing a legitimate ICO and you're a U.S. citizen and you want to participate in it, like you can't, because that won't, wherever that ICO is based, they don't want to deal with U.S. citizens. And like, it feels like, I feel bad for the American retail investors. Like they want to participate in it, but they're just being left behind. And then you have China with Xi and his blockchain speech last week or a few weeks ago, like it completely embracing blockchain. And then like within a week of that speech, you have all these different Chinese cities with their blockchain initiatives. And it's not like the hottest thing in China. You even have a DApp where you can pledge your loyalty to the Communist Party on the on the blockchain. Like all this in a week.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just see the difference in the mindset. And the US is not alone in this, but we are so limited in advancements just based on legislation. It's holding everything back, and it always has, and it's going to for quite some time.
I have to give the state of Wyoming credit though, because they did pass laws that like define what a token is. They passed like 10 different laws that were very favorable for cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Direct differentiated them from securities. If only the federal government would do the same thing. Like Wyoming already did the work for us. We basically have to just copy those laws. And
yeah, except nobody's going to take Wyoming seriously.
Yeah,
which is the sad part. I'm really tempted just to move down south, a few hundred more miles and go to Wyoming myself. I can be there in an hour.
Right. But I think it's more important for them to figure out if it should be considered drunk driving, riding a horse after drinking a couple of beers, than worrying about the crypto space. Sometimes it just blows your mind on where the energies are put at.
Yeah.
Seriously, I've heard of somebody actually getting a DUI riding a horse while intoxicated. What the fuck is that?
I mean, you need a license to drive a horse? What?
I know, right? Same thing. I've heard of people driving their lawnmower drunk and getting drunk driving.
Well, out in LA, you have people on their birds and lines and their scooters, and they get DUIs for riding the scooter.
It's crazy.
That's great. But yeah, no, I mean, to touch on that more though, like Wyoming, it's the first, it's like the last state you think of when you would, if somebody said, which state do you think is going to embrace this revolutionary new technology first? Like people would be guessing California and maybe Washington, because, Seattle or New York, but they're not going to say Wyoming.
You mentioned California. I believe they're considering regulations similar to the New York bit license law. So they would be going in the opposite.
Right, exactly.
Direction. Like the craziest thing about the bit license is the guy who wrote the regulation now works in the private sector, and he's consulting for crypto companies and companies to get approved for the bit license. And it's just like the most, it seems like the shadiest thing ever. And it just seems like the bit license, like the common sense regulation that needs to exist, but like seems like the bit license is definitely seems like too intrusive and stifling innovation. Like you see so much like you can trade at this exchange in the US except you're in New York. So even the people in New York even have it worse than everyone else, and that's the financial capital of the world, arguably.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I mean, like New York, from a legislation standpoint in general, just tends to micromanage everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand that. But
yeah,
as time goes on and people start shifting their mindsets a little bit, maybe that will improve too. I don't know where we go with this in the future, but we can hope for the best, right?
Yeah. I think it's just up to Congress taking the initiative to set out clearly defined definitions of what a token is, what a cryptocurrency is. I think it's that simple. And I feel like at this rate, they won't do it until it's too late. So I really hope they get on it.
So is the pattern, right?
Yeah, so is the pattern.
So tell us about the cop that pulled you over and asked you about the shirt that you were wearing.
Yeah, what shirt were you wearing?
Oh, okay, yeah. So everybody knows the Dare logo. I'm actually wearing a Dare shirt right now, believe it or not. From high school.
No way.
I swear. I'm wearing
That's destiny.
Yeah. Wow, that's really you really digged into my story. So the Dare shirt is like the Dare logo everybody knows. So instead of the Dare logo, it says dope. And I just thought it was really ironic and funny because like Dare not to use it. And so like, and also my nickname actually I got it right before college, and ironically like my nickname in college for a little bit was Dope Dave. It's another long story, but it's just really, so I got this shirt and like, I think I was like walking on the street and the cop's like, hey, what does that shirt say? And I'm like, oh, it says dope. And I think they laughed at the shirt. I laughed at the shirt. And they didn't pull me over. I think I was just like walking down the street or like walking somewhere. But yeah, that's the story behind that.
That's funny.
That's yeah. So, I mean, this is all about the Crypto Campfire is about experiencing the community. So I think we're going to have to experience that story about how you got your nickname.
How I got the Dope Dave. Okay, so as you know, I'm like,
here we go.
Music. And so I had a friend that made music, and he had like a kind of alter ego as a rapper. And he was really talented, like very lyrical. And I like was like, oh, you're really cool. Like, you should let me manage you. And like I was like 18, he was like 16, and he's like, sure. And I'm just like, if I'm gonna manage him, I should make a label. Like, what should my label be called? And I'm just like, I'm gonna call it Dope Dave Entertainment. And so then I told everyone, everyone on like in my dorm on my floor, like, yeah, I'm like, I was really enthusiastic about it too. And I think, I have this label, I have this artist, blah blah blah. And like people really bought it, and like people really believed in it as well because I believed in it. And so then everybody just started calling me Dope Dave and DDE, and I still like I'm a man of many nicknames, and that's one of my nicknames. And people have still referred to me that to this day. So and
that's amazing.
Rolls off the tongue, Dope Dave.
Dope Dave Entertainment.
Yeah, but now my nickname is Wavy Dave.
Wavy Dave.
Wavy. Yeah.
How did you go from Dope Dave to Wavy Dave?
I'm really into vaporwave. I've like been into vaporwave for like the past few years, and so that's how I got. And the way that my fashion is, like I take a lot of kind of nostalgia from the 80s and 90s, like brands from the 80s and 90s, and like incorporate it in my fashion. Like I'm sure like there's probably a few pictures on my Instagram of like some vaporwave shirts. There's one with like me with like a Microsoft's 95 logo. There's another one that's with Crystal Pepsi. So like my style kind of reflects Wavy Dave.
So what's your favorite 80s nostalgia logo?
80s nostalgia. I was born in the 90s, but like I guess I was born in the 90s. That's my first
well, you brought the 80s up, so
yeah.
I was gonna quiz you on that.
I just like kind of just like how people thought the future would be. I kind of just like I guess like the Crystal Pepsi would be, I'm not sure if that's from the 80s specifically. I like the old McDonald's logo. I like was the Moon Man, was the Moon Man in the 80s? Like when they had the Moon Man promotion. I'm not sure if that was in the 80s or 70s or 90s.
I don't know. I can't remember.
But
I can't remember the Moon Man either.
I thought that was just like really cool. Something from the 80s. From the 90s for me, it's like Blockbuster, PlayStation.
Yeah, Blockbuster. That's a good one.
Yeah. What else is there? Like.
You remember the old Walkmans? Have you ever used an old Walkman that you had like a cassette that you would put in it?
I'm not that old, but
I'm not that old.
I had like a CD. I remember. Sorry.
Yo, you had the CD Walkman. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
When I was like I must have been 8 or 9. I had like a CD player, and like I like burned like songs on a CD. And then when I was 10, I'll never forget at sleepaway camp. Like I saw an iPod for the first time, and this one kid had an iPod, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what is that? That looks so cool!" And then everybody just had the iPods are like more of like my or like kind of like my nostalgia, and like the iPod from like from when I was like 9, 10 to when I was like 14, 15, whenever I got the iPhone.
Right.
I just know that I was really freaking excited when I was able to get the Discman with the anti-skip. You know, it had that, like, it would buffer like 30 seconds of your CD.
I was happy when I didn't have to carry my record player over to my friend's house.
I love
up your gramophone. And
I love the iPod because of all the games on it. Like you could play Atari on it. There was like a music guessing game, and like you can guess like all the songs on your iPod and stuff. And the iPod definitely has a cool aesthetic to it. I wonder when Apple will ever come out with store like a million songs on like on the retro iPod. Like I'm sure like one day they'll do that. Like just I don't know.
Right, just have it like linked to a cloud and be like infinite storage.
Yeah, have iPod with Wi-Fi.
Right, there you go. Yeah, it's funny just thinking about the old devices and stuff, because my first real smartphone was a BlackBerry Storm. My first kind of smartphone was a Palm Trio, and that was like my first year of college, I think. And it was more of a PDA that can make calls, but the Storm, that was like the epitome of a failure at touchscreen technology. Like, I don't know if you ever used one of those or not, but good God.
I didn't use that, but my first phone was a blue Razor in middle school, and then I actually jumped in the pool with my Razor and broke. So my mom had an old pink Razor, and I was rocking the pink Razor for like 6 months.
The pink Razor is so iconic.
Yeah,
Well, if I could think of 3 phones from that decade, I would think of the Razor, I would think of the LG Chocolate, and I would think of that one little
Sidekick.
That little one. Yeah,
I don't know. Sidekick. I think the Sidekick is definitely one of the more iconic phones of that decade. Also, BlackBerry.
Yeah, the Sidekick, and then there's like the Juke, and then there's the whatever, I can't remember what the hell they're called, but the first ones that had like the walkie-talkie built in, and
the Nextel.
Yeah, those.
Yeah. I remember those.
Speaking of iconic advertisements,
I had an Nextel until I think I want to say 2006.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So how was that? Was it really irritating that people could just push a button and talk to you?
No, actually it was kind of cool because you could basically talk to a bunch of people like on the spot, you know, and not have to make a phone call and all that. I don't know. It was great for the work scene, you know, because I was in construction.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess there would be a good application there. See, I would have been in high school or whatever, probably when those were first coming out. So
I remember when I was in high school, everybody had a BlackBerry, and I got like an iPhone. I got like one of the first, like a 3GS, but everybody had a BlackBerry and was on BBM. So I felt so left out. I've ever seen all these BBM groups, and I'm just like alone in my iPhone land. But eventually,
listen to this kid. When I was in high school, I had an AudioVox 800 something or other, fucking flip phone. I must be only like 4 or 5 years older than you.
I had a phone the size of a fucking briefcase in my car.
Right?
What are you talking about?
But it's hilarious.
When you said car phone, you reminded me of the Seinfeld episode with the car phone, and that's definitely one of my favorite things from the 90s is Seinfeld. I find Seinfeld to be just so iconic as a show, and I still quote it to this day.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Seinfeld quote?
These pretzels. Oh, there's so many. These pretzels are making me thirsty. I think Can't Stand You Costanza. Can't Stand You Costanza. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite ones. Yeah. I actually, funny story. At my bar mitzvah, I had a Seinfeld impersonator. I think it's one of the top things I've ever done for any party was get a Seinfeld impersonator.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So other than Seinfeld, what's the TV show that you find most iconic from your childhood?
SpongeBob, for sure. SpongeBob is the most like from my childhood.
Nice.
SpongeBob isn't a TV show; it's a cartoon.
No. That's where I even watch it to this day. And what makes SpongeBob so genius is, although it's like meant for kids, like a lot of the jokes are for adults too, and you don't pick up until you're older.
Right. That's true. When my kids are watching cartoons, I'm like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, SpongeBob, they really knocked it out of the ballpark with that show because it was both enjoyable for kids and adults. And not only that, like SpongeBob, I think still lives on through all the memes and meme formats you see on Instagram and Twitter. Like
this is true. SpongeBob memes are some of the best.
Yeah, like I think that's probably one. I think you can rank SpongeBob next to Disney as one of the best like cartoon characters of all time.
Are you a SpongeBob or Squidward?
I'm SpongeBob for sure.
For sure. What is that?
I'm like definitely more optimistic. I view SpongeBob and Squidward kind of as like a yin and yang. Like it's so funny because they both have the same living situation. If you think about it, they both like work at like some like dead end fast food place. If you're objectively looking at it, they both kind of have like very similar jobs. And SpongeBob kind of has this childhood innocence and childhood wonder about it. Like he's always happy and stuff. And Squidward's just like so he kind of represents like childhood, and like Squidward kind of represents like being like a depressed adult. Like he like hates the situation. He's like always down. He's like complaining, like blah blah blah. So like I think like what made that show great is the dichotomy between SpongeBob and Squidward. Yeah,
right.
Sure, yeah. It's more than a cartoon. Yeah.
I've never thought so deeply about SpongeBob, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if totally lost the question.
He's still thinking about SpongeBob.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so if you could pick any job in the world to have as your own from now until the time you are done working, what job would it be and why?
Oh, it'd be the director of partnerships and exchanges at Everipedia.
Oh, that's weak.
I'm having a great time. I mean, this is like the only.
That's cool though. I was kidding. That's really cool though.
No, for sure.
Crypto is doing that for a lot of people, enabling people to work in what they would actually call their dream job.
Yeah, I feel like being in startups from like when I first joined Everipedia till now, I've kind of like made my own job in a way, in a sense that like I saw that needed to be done, and like I just did it, and like I kind of just took initiative that way. Like no one asked me to like get partnerships at first, but then early on I actually started locking down, like last year around this time I started locking down pretty big partnerships. One of the biggest ones I got last year was with this DJ. His name's Excision. He's arguably one of the biggest DJs in the world. You can look him up. He has like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of followers on social media. Main stage. Wow. And so he had this thing called Artist of the Week, Artist Spotlight of the Week, and he would highlight an up and coming artist. And so I'm friends with people on his team, and I'm just like, hey, you should tweet out the Everipedia pages too. And so I already had all these Everipedia pages for these artists. I would just kind of like fix them up, and he actually thought it was cool too. His name's Jeff. Jeff thought it was cool too, and he actually would tweet out. He would tweet out the artist. He would tweet out their SoundCloud, and then he would tweet out their Everipedia page and share it on their story. And that was like
that's cool.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, so that was like the first big partnership I got, and from there, like last week, we announced our partnership with Brave Browser, which I'm really excited about. I was working on that since the summer, and right now we're starting it off as a co-marketing partnership. So we're gonna each be involving other communities, whether it's us making Everipedia pages for Brave publishers and creators, and sharing them on our social media and beyond, and front page of our website, giving them the recognition that they deserve but don't get from Wikipedia. We'll be doing, and then whether it's on the Brave side, we're going to be like featured in their podcasts, AMAs. We're going to have Everipedia ads on Brave, so it's this really cool kind of mutual beneficial partnership collaboration we have going on with Brave, and I'm excited about it. I see it's the first step into something bigger, and so we'll see how that goes.
You sound really excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing some Everipedia things pop up on my screen there from Brave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Follow us on Twitter.
Oh yeah. We will. Oh yeah. What's your handle for, just let everybody know your handle so they can go follow you?
Yeah. So Everipedia is at Everipedia on Twitter, Everipedia official on Instagram, Everipedia on Facebook. My personal handles, if you want to follow me on Twitter, at Dave said that _. If you want to follow me on Instagram, at Dave doing things _. and find me. You can join our Telegram group for Everipedia at Everipedia. Yeah, that's if you want to reach out, just hit us up.
Sweet. It was awesome having you on the show.
Sweet. This is a lot of fun. I like the conversation we had.
Oh yeah, and we could easily go longer too, because there's if we weren't already at an hour, we'd be getting a little bit deeper on Everipedia, because I've got some more questions. So we might have to line up another one of these.
Yeah,
definitely.
I can definitely go deeper on SpongeBob and the philosophy behind.
Oh yeah, we'll get there too.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for joining us, David. It was fun talking with you, and look forward to seeing you at another convention.
Sounds good. Hopefully we can do another one there. We can have a sequel.
Hey, you know, keep your eye on us, because we're going to be doing some meetups here in the Midwest too.
Cool.
Sometime over the next few months. So keep your eye out on that, and definitely love to have you at one of those. We're going to be doing some real live campfires and drinking beer, and yeah, this is going to be pretty sick.
For sure. Like I hope I can find my way out there and be around a real campfire. Sounds like a plan.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Take it easy.
You too. Bye.
That was fun.
It was. I need to spend some more time on Everipedia, because I'm like taken back to the old days of when Wikipedia was first becoming popular, which I think was middle school or early high school. I can't remember. And just sitting there, it was kind of like getting lost in YouTube rabbit holes, but with Wikipedia articles.
Right.
So I'm excited to go do that on Everipedia.
So basically, it's just like Wikipedia, but it's decentralized then.
Yeah, and I guess the other big thing, like he was saying, is that they allow articles for things that wouldn't necessarily be given or allowed their own article on Wikipedia. So I got you. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to learn more and playing with it a little bit.
This freaking fogginess in my head today. I'm so glad we had this podcast tonight.
It's like it just all went away, right?
It did. And I just really needed this and to get back into the swing of things. So I'm getting excited. Can't wait for the rest of the week. We got some pretty awesome guests coming on. So getting excited about that. Never a dull moment. We'll see what happens. And, you know, a big shout out to our sponsors, CoinFlip, for sponsoring us and taking a chance with us. Really appreciate these guys. And if you guys are looking to use an ATM, by all means, look them up. See if you can find one close to you. It's well worth the travel to it. Their fees are the lowest in the industry, and their interface is pretty sick.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something it's almost exciting to be able to go to a Bitcoin ATM and turn your Bitcoins into real money, turn your Bitcoins into dirty fiat.
Right. I almost did that in Vegas. I was like, yo, Dustin, you can code so I can go cash out some Bitcoin. So glad I didn't. And on that note, all right, guys, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Look forward to our next episodes and the release of many more coming your way. Keeping it real every day. The professor's killing it.
Back in the swing of things. We got some more editing coming around. So
right on. All right, guys. Have a good night. We will talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Peace.